infinite, omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient, all power in his hand, the ancient of days, the beginning of the beginnings, Alpha and Omega, the first and the last, the lily of the valley, the bright and morning star. Think of who God is. Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace, El Shaddai, Jehovah Jireh, Jehovah Sitkanu, Jehovah Rohi, Jehovah Mana. Think of who God is. Think of God, the kinsman redeemer, the day star, the bulwark, the trumpet. Think of who God is, my shield, my defense, my peace, my power. Think of who God is. Not going nor coming, always present, same yesterday, today, forevermore. Think of who God is. And all we have is a book. One book, not an encyclopedia, not a set, not a group of concordances. One book to explore him. Even the presidents get a library. God gives us book, one book, through which we can extrapolate truth about him. So the book must be living. It has to be organic. It has to be an organism to comprise all that God is. The book has to be amazing. Every time you look at it, you see a different facet of its glory, because you only got one book. In fact, the book says if all that Jesus, forget the prophets, if all that Jesus had done were recorded, the world could not contain the books. The books. And all we have is one book. And so when we read it, it is not enough to read it or see it. We must hear it and feel it. We must not go to it informed. We must go to it as a food. Because if you know too much, you cannot receive much. You must go to it empty and hungry and starving and destitute, seeking direction. And it is in that spirit that we stare at the text, hoping to see some facet being revealed, that God might flash himself before us. Give us a glimpse of another aspect of his divinity called revelation, is when God flashes us. And we see a part of him that we have never seen before. And that is kind of where I'm at today. I'm here today because I'm sitting there in my house seeking God for a word. And I started out, I'll be honest with you, I started out studying propitiation, and I was looking at propitiation, and I was looking, and then I was actually Google searching for some information that I'd used years ago about when the space shuttles came back into the atmosphere, the friction was strong enough to burn up the planes, but because they had what was called a propitiator, it burned up, it took the heat away from the astronauts and allowed the astronauts